So I'm about to start making my summer veggie flatbreads. These are so easy and simple to make, and you can meal prep. These are the flatbreads. You can buy them at the local grocery store. And I have my grilled zucchini, I have my fresh summer tomatoes, and I have smashed avocado. And then I have my olive oil with garlic, salt, pepper, oregano, and that's going to go all over the flatbread, brushed on there. It's going to be amazing flavor. Normally I would use fresh crushed garlic that I would crush myself from cloves, but I used the last 2 cloves earlier today, so I'm using powder, and that's fresh chopped basil. And then we have mozzarella for those of you that want cheese on your flatbreads. And normally I would cook these outside on the grill. You can grill them on a baking sheet or put them right on the grill if you wanted to. But it is really hot out today and I'm just not in the mood to be outside at this moment. So I am going to use a griddle pan. These are the flatbreads. You can buy them at the local grocery store. I'm using a griddle pan right there on my stove. And that's it. So what you want to do is you want to spritz the pan a little bit. And you want to put the heat on like a 4, medium low. And you're going to let that sit on there, warming up and toasting on the bottom while you brush that beautiful olive oil all over the top of this flatbread. And these flatbreads they're par baked. So they're baked, but you need to give them a little bit more of a heating and toasting. So I'm just going to brush this garlic olive oil all over this flatbread, just like this. And there's a bunch of nooks and crannies on the flatbread that's going to soak up all this delicious flavor. So when you put it on there, just keep brushing down before applying more because it's sitting in the nooks and crannies and you don't want this to be overly greasy. You want to give it a nice brush of flavoring for the fresh veggies you're going to put on, just like that. And now just let that heat up probably for a good 10 minutes because you want the bottom to be toasty and firm. Because if it's not toasty, then once you put the toppings on, this is going to be floppy and soggy and it won't hold up. Especially when you cut the slices, it'll be soggy. So you want this to sit on for a good 10 minutes to get toasty. So while it's still toasting, because you still have the burners on, you can start putting your cheese on. If you're using cheese. The one in the back is simply going to be cheese and tomato. My husband wants a cheese and tomato flatbread. So we're going to do a cheese and tomato. And the only reason that one is small is because I don't have room on the pan. So I cut one in half and I'm going to do 2 small cheese and tomatoes at the same time that I'm cooking 2 big ones. So I'm going to do it in batches. So once you get your cheese and tomato on there, you're going to put a little bit more of that olive oil and garlic brushed on top because you're also flavoring the veggies and just making it all delicious. And once that melts and gets ooey gooey, it's really good. So I'm going to put this now because I want the cheese to melt on top and get nice and bubbly. I'm going to put it in the toaster oven on broil for a few minutes. Once the flatbread gets toasty enough, after 10 minutes on the pan, you put it on your cutting board or whatever you're using, and you start layering. So I'm taking the smashed avocado, putting a nice generous helping on there, and just spread it out. You can use a butter knife, you can use a fork. I'm just using a fork because it's what I use to smash the avocado, and why dirty another utensil? So spread out the avocado all over the flatbread. And this is going to help the veggies stay in place too. So you have the buttery richness from the avocado, and then you're putting your veggies right on top of the avocado. So that looks good right there. Now I'm going to take my zucchini ribbons that I grilled before I put the flatbreads in the pan. I grilled them right there in the pan. So I'm going to take the ribbons and I'm just going to fold them over like that. And I cut these thin with a mandolin, but you can do, thicker pieces if you like thicker veggies. So after I put the zucchini ribbons on there, now I'm going to layer my juicy summer tomatoes. And I think summer's the perfect time to make this because everyone has tomatoes in their garden if they're growing tomatoes. Tomatoes and zucchinis are two of the most popular veggies that people grow in the summer. And I'm constantly seeing posts. What can I do with extra zucchini? What can I do with extra tomato? And don't say zucchini bread, don't say tomato sauce. So here you go. You can make flatbreads. So once I have that on there, I'm going to put a little bit of mozzarella cheese across the top like this. You don't have to use mozzarella cheese. You can use goat cheese. You can use Havarti. There's so many things. I mean, these are so customizable. You can use mushrooms. You can grill mushrooms. You can put roasted red peppers on here. I do want to make a garlic shrimp arugula flatbread, but not today. Today's veggie flatbread. So you're going to brush or drizzle this delicious garlic olive oil over the tomatoes, just like that. And then you're going to put this in the toaster oven because you're going to melt that cheese and get everything nice and warm and gooey. So I'm going to go take out the one that's in the toaster oven right now because that just went off. And then I'm going to put this in. If this, if it was, you can still make this in the fall and you can use your oven and you'd be able to do these all in one batch in the oven. But I'm using a toaster oven. So I'm doing it in batches because the toaster oven is small and I can only do one at a time. So I'm going to put this one in. And while that one's broiling, this is the one I just took out. Look how good that looks. That is so garlicky, delicious. It's just so good. And again, now that these are done, I'm going to sprinkle fresh basil over them. But this one right here, I am putting goat cheese on it. Just like that. You can use whatever toppings you like. There's no zucchini on this one. Why? Because I ran out of zucchini. Because I used the zucchini for something else earlier today, so I only had half a zucchini left. So this one is just avocado, tomato, goat cheese, and the drizzling of the garlic, oregano, olive oil. Red onion would be delicious on this. Mushrooms, roasted red peppers. You can even do one with like figs and cheese and arugula. You could do an Italian styled one with tomato, sausage, and mozzarella. And the good thing about these, look at that. Look how yummy that looks. I'm going to cut these now. And then once I cut them, I'm going to sprinkle them with fresh basil. I love fresh basil. And that's another thing that everybody always has if they're growing veggies for the summer. Everyone always has basil. And these can be made ahead and they're perfect for serving. Like if you're having company over, you're sitting on the deck, enjoying some, light snacks with, just a nice cold beverage, just chatting. It's not too filling. I mean, if you eat a whole one, of course, but, and you can make all different ones. You can make a whole platter of different flatbreads. And again, these flatbreads, you can buy them in the store. Even if you buy them in bulk, you can keep them in the freezer. I had mine in the freezer and I just took them out in the morning. Look at that. Look at that yummy goodness. And I took them out in the morning and just left them on the counter to defrost. And they were ready when I wanted to make them later that evening. Flatbreads are just so convenient. And you know what? You can go out and buy yourself a flatbread for like $11, $12 at a local restaurant. But for that same price, you can buy a whole bag of flatbreads and just use your summer garden vegetables if you have them, or you can just go to the local market and for the same price of buying 2 or 3 flatbreads to go out to eat, you can make yourself 8 to 12 flatbreads. So these are pretty economical as well. And again, they're customizable. So if simple, easy, delicious summer meal. Thanks for watching.